Today's narration is brought to you by Zestros. Thank you so much for your kind donation and helping to keep YouTube creepy. It followed me home from the haunted farm. I realize that the Halloween season has passed. However, I just now feel ready to talk about this. See, my friends and I started celebrating Halloween season by going to a haunted farm off the outskirts of town. I use the term haunted loosely because this place is really just a scaled-down theme park that's been in the region for over 20 years. And I don't scare easily, so I wasn't expecting much from the visit aside from a bit of lighthearted fun with friends. Who would have thought, after an evening of cheap jump scares and screaming, mostly to be polite, that I'd find myself sitting in my bed, genuinely shaking in fear? I certainly didn't, yet here I am, all because something followed me home. Whenever a car drives down the street, I can catch a glimpse of it slowly crawling down my neighbor's house directly towards mine, as though toying with me. It all happened because of that damn farm. We arrived at the farm late in the afternoon. It was nice out, not too hot, not too cold. The farm was neat, though it wasn't overly spooky looking in the light of day. They built a few old Wild West-style houses they decorated with pumpkins and giant spiders, had a few creepy mascots walking around, and sprinkled demonic baby dolls wherever they saw fit. In the daytime, the place was a playground for kids. I saw more bouncy houses and face-painting stations than scary attractions, but I expected things would change once the sun went down. My friends and I headed out to do the corn mazes while they were still open, and then headed to the food trucks for supper. By the time we were done eating, it was finally dark out, and the toddlers had sprouted into teenagers. As expected, the park looked a lot creepier at night. They'd turned on their fog machines and colored lights to give the place a surreal atmosphere. The mascots had changed their makeup from sort of menacing but still friendly to sort of demonic, with a few vampires and masked witches thrown in for good measure. It was fine, just not really that scary. I'm not trying to make myself out to be some unshakable badass or anything, but I honestly just don't scare all that easily. I'm not really susceptible to things I know aren't real. Creepy music and plastic hatchets just don't work on me. You could blame all my time hanging around no sleep for the desensitization, but the truth is, I've always been pretty numb to horror. I'm more afraid of practical things. Like, say, for instance, being stuck in line for a haunted hayride for a half hour with a bunch of rowdy 13-year-old kids screaming profanities to try and look cool and outshock one another. Splinters and disgusting porta potties. The first and last of which I experienced at the farm. Ugh. Anyways, my friends and I walked around and tried out different attractions. We did the aforementioned hayride, the witch's coven, the demonic funhouse, which was fun for all the wrong reasons. See, the funhouse was pretty tame, all things considered. You walk your way through the world's most straightforward maze, and from time to time, a creepy clown appears out of nowhere and kind of shuffles behind you and follows you for a bit. I can see how that might be a bit unsettling to kids or people with a fear of clowns. But these clowns were all actors. I knew they were actors, and they weren't allowed to actually touch anyone, so for me, there wasn't really anything to be scared of. I mean, that being said, that didn't stop this one chick from breaking down outside the attraction. This 20-something-year-old gal totally lost it. She was sobbing in her boyfriend's arms, and I couldn't help but laugh as we walked past her. I'm sorry, but if you can't handle a clown standing next to you for half a second, maybe you shouldn't be going into a demonic funhouse. Just saying. Anyways, it was getting late and we still had one major attraction to go to. According to our maps, it was the scariest of them all. 4 chainsaws out of 4. Having heard screams of abject terror coming from that side of the park, I was actually really looking forward to seeing what all the fuss was about. Along the way, my friend pointed out a cemetery with a half-opened gate and not a soul in line to go in. There had been a 30-minute wait for all the other attractions, but this one was still as a grave. Pun intended. "Should we go in?" she asked. "Might as well," I replied. The door squealed as we opened it the rest of the way. Oh boy, someone had left the fog machine on overnight. The curtains of smoke were so thick I couldn't even see my own feet. I grabbed the friend behind and in front of me just so I wouldn't lose them in the mist. That's how dense it was. I didn't really like the cemetery. For one thing, there wasn't much to it. A few tombstones here and there, a crypt, some gargoyles, but overall, I was just kind of getting annoyed. I kept tripping on exposed tree roots and fake plastic bones. It was a pain in the butt, but it was worth it for the one genuine scare I did get all night. As I was turning a corner, I felt something grab my leg. I let out my only authentic scream all evening because I had no idea we weren't alone in the cemetery. The fog really had done a great job of hiding the guy in a pitch-black morph suit crawling around on all fours. I only saw him because, as I screamed, I also flapped my arms around like a drunk duck trying to take off, and the motion dispersed the fog for a second. The guy crawled away and disappeared behind a tombstone. My friends laughed and laughed and laughed. "Whatever," I mumbled. Wasn't even that scared. We found our way out of the cemetery after that and headed to the main attraction. And the wait was longer than any other attraction on the farm, because this was allegedly the scariest of them all. The cream of the crop. Hell, after the scare I had gotten in the cemetery, my expectations were actually pretty high for this one. And it was fine. I mean, there were guys in pretty realistic pig masks running after us with chainsaws, but even in the dark, I could tell the blades weren't actually moving. I just didn't feel like there was any real danger. Well, aside from the very real danger of possibly losing all blood circulation of my arm when one pigman jumped in front of us and my friend grabbed me so tightly my fingers went numb. She screamed. I just kind of stared at the pigman, unfazed. I half expected him to tell me to feed the pig. "Not tonight, buddy. Not tonight." Well, after that, we drove home and chatted about our favorite parts of the night. "You got so scared in the cemetery?" taunted Julie. I huffed. "Well, the dude scared the crap out of me. What do you expect?" Suddenly, the car went silent. What guy?" someone in the backseat asked. "The dude in the morph suit," I answered. "Huh?" "He was crawling around on the floor on all fours." "I didn't see him." I shrugged. "Well, it was foggy." We went back to chatting. Eventually, I dropped off everyone at their places. I wasn't tired by the time I got home, so I booted up my computer and uploaded the photos we'd taken that night. Everything was pretty normal, until we got to the cemetery. Or rather, after the cemetery. See, Morph Suit Guy was in the background of all the other photos I took, which was really strange to me since I thought the mascots were supposed to stay in their attractions. They had these lame bios for the mascots on the website, so I looked him up just to see. And he wasn't listed. I felt a small knot in my stomach, but laughed it off. There were plenty of guests in costumes. Maybe this was another annoying teenager just having fun. At this point, I thought I could hear a squirrel or something scratching at my bedroom window, but I couldn't spare a glance. I was too busy staring dumbfounded at the website. I clicked on the venue map link, and I noticed a distinct lack of a cemetery. I mean, the thought did occur to me that perhaps this was all just intentional on the part of the people running the farm, a great way to get one last scare out of their guests after they'd gone home. It was as easy as not drawing a cemetery on the little cartoon map, as simple as not including it on the list of attractions, as easy as omitting one spooky mascot from their character bios. I wish that were the case. I wish that, when I looked out the window, I hadn't seen the figure in the morph suit staring back at me, and then quickly skittering backwards across the yard up to my neighbor's roof. I wish he'd stop crawling nearer whenever I blink or look away. Every time I focus on my screen to write another line, I catch him in my peripheral vision. He's at the window right now. I gave him a quick glance, and he runs away. I can't help but worry. What happens when I close my eyes and fall asleep? And I think I'll find out soon. I'm so tired. I don't know how much longer I can keep my eyes open. Thanks for watching, and before you go, here's a special shout out to my patrons who donated $20 or more. Zestros, Jocelyn Cunningham, Fantasy Rider Cosplay, Dark Nito Taki, Avarok Levgri, Jesse, Kimimaro Kaguya, and Simon Leverdeer Delisle. Thanks so much, you guys! If you're interested in becoming a patron and helping me to keep YouTube creepy, please feel free to check out the link in the card.